I'm Bob Savakinus. Welcome to our program in a nutshell. Today we have a very special guest in Patrick O'Malley. Patrick is the father of two fine young children. One is attending the University of Scranton and one attends Valley View High School. Patrick is a former two-term Lackawanna County Commissioner, a three-term Scranton School Board Director. He's the current president of the Purple Club Scholarship Organization at the University of Scranton. He's also the current president of the Ancient Order of Hibernians, Paul Hook O'Malley, Division 4. Pat is the co-director of many O'Malley free holiday events, such as Easter, Christmas, and Halloween, that benefits our community and supports children and adults. He's been doing this for over 23 years in northeastern Pennsylvania. He's also a fundraiser and a speaker for the Women's Resource Center and is involved in many other charitable organizations in which he volunteers for over the past 40 years since he was a youngster. He's also been involved since the inception of the Steamtown Marathon, having competed in it for over 20 years, including this year's virtual program. So it's my great honor and privilege to welcome Patrick O'Malley today to our program. Patrick, welcome to our show.
Bob, thanks for having me on the show. It's a great day to be here.
I've known you for several years, and I am just completely amazed at the volunteer organizations that you help out and support through charitable contributions, through just support financially, just through bringing the community together and everything. What got you involved in just wanting to be so active in our community?
My father trained professional and amateur fighters at Weston Field, and his name was Paul Hook O'Malley. And it was funny because you didn't have to come into the gym to be trained to be a boxer, to actually be one of his boxers. He would train you just so you'd have be able to understand the art of self-defense. And from a young age, being down Weston Field, 4 or 5 years old, I would see my father bring clothes or food down for the kids, because there was a lot of poor kids that actually hung out down at Weston Field. And I think that was really the start. And my mom was always involved with doing stuff inside the community. And hers was a different type of involvement. His was more of the spiritual and physical and athletic ability of the athletes of our community. My mother's was more about the holiday events that we have, the charities. As I got older, it grew and grew and grew. And then at age 11, my sister Margie was a victim of domestic violence. On June 9, 1980, she was murdered by her estranged husband, David Davis. My sister Margie was 16 when I was born, so my mother automatically made her my godmother. And we were very, very close. And when she died, it's probably one of the bigger driver forces for me to do a lot for the community. And the first organization I was really heavily involved in was the Women's Resource Center. But at age 13, I started to actually go around to all the hospitals as Santa Claus to the pediatric wards. And it was great because I had an opportunity to see so many children that were sickly, and to be able to come into Santa Claus, it was just a great feeling. And it grew and grew into all the different charities and organizations my family's involved in today, which includes like my father's. This year it's going to be the 28th annual Hook O'Malley Race Against Cancer. All donations of funds go to the American Cancer Society. And it was run at McDade Park, but now we actually changed it the last year. Now it's called the Hook O'Malley Firecracker 1 Mile Race, and it's on North-South Road. It's a lot of fun. But the pandemic kind of has been a little bit of drag on a lot of our events, because now our events are drive-through events. Our holiday event, Halloween, has been a drive-through. It was at McDade. Went very, very well. We served probably approximately 400 kids plus their parents. And the same for Christmas. We had the last 50-degree day, December 13th, this past year, and we got lucky. And we're going to be looking towards our Easter party very soon.
Tell us a little bit about the Easter event then.
The Easter event is going to be on Palm Sunday, the week before Easter. It's 1 to 3, and it's a drive-through event. So you'll come into the park, and we'll have someone standing approximately 40, 50 yards from where we're actually going to be handing out all the candy and stuff and such things as that. But you'll stay in your car. All of my volunteers will be wearing masks, and each child that goes through will get a half-pound chocolate bunny, jelly beans. They'll meet the Easter bunny, slice of pizza from Goodfellas Pizza, who's been with us for for over 25 years for all my events. I can't explain how much pizza we've got from Mr. Tom Hashem and Goodfellas Pizza. Thank you for all the great work and help you've given us. A free Texas Roadhouse meal, free Utz chips. McDonald's on Kaiser Avenue has been there since the start too. They get orange drink, cheeseburger, French fry coupon, and it's just a great day, and it's a great opportunity just for the people to come out and enjoy their family. And I know it's a little different, but you're in the car, but you're getting to see the Easter Bunny, you're getting to get the candy, and like some of the kids that are coming through, this might be as good as it gets. And we try to make sure that they get a lot of stuff, and they do. And we're hoping that we have an incredible Easter party this year. You know, with the pandemic, the participation's a little less because people are kind of afraid of the germs out there, but to see their smiling faces, what really matters. And my mom passed away 10 years ago, and this was her brainchild, the holiday events. And I know she's looking down, and she loves these events, and she would be right at the beginning of the line to say hello to all the kids that they came through. So it's been a pleasure.
Patrick, it's absolutely amazing, astonishing might be the best word that I could describe. Having attended a couple of those events, those holiday events, you know, pre-pandemic and everything, but just the hundreds of people that came out. I mean, the great sponsors that you got. So, of course, I would ask our viewers, support those sponsors that are just donating just to help our community out, the kids, the families, and everything like that. But what your volunteers do and everything, just, you know, congratulations to your family, to yourself, to the volunteers and everything. Because, again, some of these kids, you really wonder how well they would be able to celebrate all these holidays without having this opportunity.
You know, and it's a little different now because in the past we'd give the kids each a picture with the Easter Bunny, but now with the pandemic, they get to meet the Easter Bunny, and maybe the parents will take like a quick picture with their phone. But, you know, I can't wait till we get out of this because it was a very close-knit event, and our Halloween event would sometimes we get 800 to 1,000 people at it. And it would just be like a big party at McDade Park, and the kids would just have a great time. And you can see in their faces, and you know the kids that are really poor, the ones that aren't going to really do too well, you know, especially like Easter, like Halloween, you can go out Halloween and you can get candy, but like Easter, Christmas, things such as that, you know what I mean, this could be as good as it got. And that was always the big part of it. And I've gotten so much more out of giving than receiving. Like, it's just such a great feeling to see the smiles on their face. And I've always thought about this, like if everybody, because there's like some people, there's people like yourself, and I give a lot, but there's people that give a lot all the time. What if everybody just gave 5% of their time to something? Or just said hello, you know, or just like a nice gesture, you know, just to make life better. And that's what it's all about. You know, we're all in on this, we're all here together. And I just believe that the more we do for each other and we do for the people who are less fortunate, the better the world's going to be. It's just the way I feel about it.
And it certainly shows your involvement in our community through the years from, I guess, a child up to where you're at now currently, just as I read your intro, your bio and everything. So we have the Irish Celebration Heritage event with the Order of Ancient Hibernians through the Paul Hook O'Malley event. Tell us a little bit about what that's going to involve. I think you have 2 weekends of activities, events.
We're actually going to have 3 events. It's different now because of the pandemic. We usually have this big Man of the Year dinner, 400 to 600 people at it. And we would pick someone from our organization that gives back to the community, is a special person, that one who stands out, that means so much to the organization and to the community. And this year, I'll do them in order. This year, this coming next Friday, March 5th, 5:30, we're going to be doing the memorial service for the Lady Delancey. They're our Congressional Medal of Honor recipients, and that's going to be on the corner of Spruce and Washington Avenue, 5:30 sharp. We'll be saying a few words, a prayer, and we'll be presenting a green wreath to their memorial down at the courthouse. Because, you know, we got to always remember that we're nothing without our veterans, and our veterans are who we are. And whatever goes on in our world, if we didn't have veterans and we didn't have people to go fight the war, then we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do today. So we just like to honor them. So that's going to be on Friday the 5th. Then on Saturday the 6th, we're going to actually have our Man of the Year event. It's so different than last year. It's not going to be a dinner. And it's going to be at St. Patrick's Church. It's going to be at the 4 o'clock Mass on March 6th. And probably somewhere towards the end of the Mass, we're going to do a walk up to the altar with all of our past recipients of the Man of the Year, with the bagpipers and all of our crests and the band and the actual sash that we're going to present Father Fox. And
does he know this?
What's that?
Does he know this?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
I didn't want us to reveal any secrets
It's a
here.
little different this year. So we're going to bring the sash up, and we're going to say a few words, and then we're going to actually put the sash on Father Fox. He'll say a few words, and then we have one other award we give out. It's like an unsung hero in our division, and he doesn't know he's getting it. It's called the Shillelagh Award, and you get a literal shillelagh, the walking stick, and that will be presented immediately to follow. And then Father Fox will be the Man of the Year for the second year. In the history of the organization, this is the first time we're keeping the Man of the Year. And the reason why is he was the Man of the Year for 2020. And this year, we felt that 2021 should be his year, because last year he dealt with so many different situations, from the loss of people who died within his congregation was way beyond the norm. Being there to be here for his flock. He was there for all of his parishioners. They have a great food bank downstairs inside of St. Patrick's Rectory. And he's just a person that gives back, and he's there for everybody just to listen or to give them some spiritual guidance. And he's just a great man. And our AOH, we have him. He is actually the chaplain for our AOH division. And it's an honor for him to be with us. And we were trying to figure out who was going to be the Man of the Year this year. And I reached out to all of our fellow members, and without question, they said, let Father Fox be it for 2021, because he really deserves it after everything he went through last year. Because funerals have changed, and like it's been a devastating year. But you know what? The people who care really stood out and did what they were supposed to do, and he was one of them. So that's why he's our Man of the Year. So anybody in the viewing audience, please come to St. Patrick's Church, 4 p.m., March 6th, Jackson Street, and you can see Father Fox receive his sash and say a few words, and it's going to be a great time.
Well, congratulations to Father Fox.
Yeah, it's great,
and
man.
now you also have another event the following weekend at the Circle Drive-In, I believe.
Yeah, when this all started with the pandemic, I reached out to my executive board, and it's been an honor for me. I've been the president for going on just probably like altogether, it's segmented, but this will be like my 8th year out of like the 16 years that we've been around. And this past year, when the pandemic hit in March, I started calling my executive board members and our members and saying, you know, we always give out money to different charities and scholarship stuff. I said, why don't we start pushing out as much money as we possibly could? And we did. We started to donate to St. Patrick's Pantry, to St. Francis's, to the Women's Resource Center, to families that are in need in St. Patrick's Parish. And just in general, like we've given out thousands of dollars this year. Usually we'd only give out so much money. We've given out more than we ever had, and we're going to probably in the next 2 to 3 months. Because if there's a time that people, if you have the option and you have the finances, give back. There's so many great organizations out there that are feeding the hungry. And you know what? This is so different because, you know, we all take it for granted that we have a warm house and we have a big refrigerator full of food. There's people out there that are wondering about their next meal. And that's what we're pushing out there. We're trying to make sure that we donate to those organizations and like to the Women's Resource Center, because people understand what the Women's Resource Center, a close friend of mine is Peg Ruddy for Jesus over 3 decades. Peg was only 12 when she became the director, just so you know. She's very young, much younger than me. But she said that this was a different type of year because a lot of people were stuck in their homes because of the pandemic, and they could be stuck with the perpetrator of domestic violence. And so she always said, please make sure when you have an opportunity, let people know that Women's Resource Center is alive and well, and if you have any issues, please reach out to them. There's a hotline. They'll help you. They'll get lodging. They'll take care of you and your children, and they'll help you even if it goes into the court system. So please just make sure if you have any type of donations that you like to put out, please give out to like the Women's Resource Center, any one of these food banks. These are organizations that are being hard hit, and people are hungry, and they really need to be fed.
Let's get back to your event at the Circle Drive-In.
Oh.
I think you went off talking about one of the organizations
yes.
that you support and is a great organization.
So next Saturday, March 13th, 2 weeks from this Saturday, March 13th, we're going to be having, I reached out to your wife. One of my AOH members said to me, hey, why don't we try to get a movie or something for the people for March? Let's try to get some things that are free, that get people out, get them out and enjoy life and stuff with lots of social distancing.
Right.
So I reached out to your wife, Marion, and I said, you just had Jaws this past summer up at the Circle Drive-In. How do you do that? How did you do this? And your wife hooked me up with Dave Costelli. And oh my God, he was very happy to help us, work with us. And we're going to have a double feature. Saturday the 13th, 5:15, doors open, Circle Drive-In. Come on up. 6:15, we're going to start off with Quiet Man. John Wayne, the Duke, can't beat that, the Quiet Man. And then immediately follow will be Rudy. All we're asking for, if you're able, we're not asking for anybody any payment to come in or charge for the car. If you'd like to give a financial donation or a canned good, we want to be able to give those back to the food banks in the area and try to help that way or with the check. So please come out. It's going to be a great time. It's lots of social distancing. You'll be in your own car. You can bring your family, friends. Come on out. There's lots of space up there, and we'd like for you to come to see either one show or both shows. It's going to be a great Saturday. Just hoping the weather stays good. Hopefully the 40s will be a great day. Great night.
Circle Drive-In, I mean, what a fantastic place, organization,
Wonderful.
and everything.
Wonderful.
One of my prior shows, we had Dr. Joe Caliber on, who's the owner of the Circle Drive-In.
Yeah, and I'd
of
like to
course,
thank him because they really are stepping up to the plate during the pandemic. And like, this is the time when, if you're going to step up, it's one thing to step up in years past, but to step up in the middle is when it really, really counts.
they've offered so many nonprofit organizations, high schools and everything, the opportunity for graduations and everything up there. So again, they continue just to show their great community support and everything. And plus there'll be a way, as we always have in Northeastern PA, to celebrate our heritages. You know, Italians with all their events, the Polish and all the nationalities. And of course now it's time to celebrate Irish heritage.
March is coming.
And well, yes, but again, with the Irish themed movies
Yes.
a little bit and everything. So, but again, another great opportunity for our community to come out and support a great event and a great organization.
Yes.
We talked a lot about your involvement in our community with the volunteer groups and everything. Let's move over a little bit and talk a little bit about your involvement just serving our community as an elected official. I know you started off your career in the school board,
Yes.
several terms. How did that come about, becoming a school board director, and why?
You know, it's whether I'm elected or not, all the charities and all the different organizations I'm involved in is like, it's like a, you know, people have a hobby, they go golfing or they you know, maybe they build models or they garden or whatever. Well, my hobby's the charities that we're involved in, the organizations.
That's evident.
It's always been. That's how it's always been. And what happened was with the charities, I wanted to have like a opportunity to do more, give more, help more, be there to answer the questions and try to do what's right on behalf, especially our children, you know, because our children are our greatest asset. You know what I mean? They're our future, and we need to nurture them, and we have to educate them. We got to make sure that they are prepared for life. And at 22 years old, I ran for the Scranton School Board and won. And I was there for 8 years, and then I actually came back I was there from 93 to 2001, and then 2007 to 2011. And I had an opportunity to be there for one of the greatest constructions in Scranton, and people might not realize it, but like Scranton High School was in probably one of the most desolate, beaten down areas, boarded up buildings, nothing going on, 2-lane road on Providence Road. And if you go there today, it's like a metropolis. Once the school was built, the stadium got redone over. You know what I mean? We got Riverfront, you have the ice box, you got all the stores here, you have lawyers' offices, you got fast food restaurants, you have a Turkey Hill, you know what I mean? There's a light there, you know, and the road leading up to it, I had an opportunity to be involved in this. One of our premier athletes, Mike Munchak, who is in the NFL Hall of Fame, Football Hall of Fame, and it's named after him, Mike Munchak Way. And the school itself is probably one of the greatest opportunities I had to be involved as a school director. And then actually within about 2 or 3 years, within 4 or 5 years of that, we had issues like situations happen like Columbine with the shootings at the school, which was so devastating. And God bless the families that lost children and loved ones in those situations, because there was numerous ones. And we had the opportunity to apply for grants, and I was the health safety chairman for the board. And we were able to get a $350,000 grant to actually start our resource officers, police and schools. And I think it absolutely really matters. I think it's one thing to have a security guard. It's one thing to have a hall monitor. It's a whole other thing to have a law enforcement agent there that knows what they're doing and being there to be responsible, make sure that if anything does come or arises, that they'll be able to take care of it. And that's like one of the big things that I always felt was hallmark to my time as a school director. But the one thing beyond that was to put our kids in uniforms. Great opportunity to save millions of dollars. You just tell your children, put your uniform on, pair of slacks, you know what I mean, a golf shirt, and that was something that happened while my first 2 terms as a school director. But then when I came back in 2007 to 2011, we had a brand new construction project. Isaac Tripp Elementary School holds approximately 800 students. We had a refurbishment of JFK Elementary School where they added a whole other wing. Brand new Whittier Elementary School built right on the premises of the former Whittier School. And, you know, this was something that our students needed. And these schools, like, it's funny because when I first became a school director, I think we had maybe 50 computers in the school district. There's thousands. There's tons of computers in the school district, from laptops to you name it, to boards. It's just, you know, I mean, this is the kids' future. And the school district does a great job. And, you know, I would hope that maybe the state could come forward and help them with some of the monies that they should need, but the district does a good job, and it was an honor to be a school director for those 12 years.
Okay, let's continue on in your public service life. Let's look at, you were elected 2 terms to county commissioner.
Yeah.
A lot of accomplishments. What are some of your more accomplishments that you're most proud of as a county commissioner?
First and foremost, there wasn't a day that I walked into the administration building at the corner of Spruce and Adams or at 123 Wyoming Avenue, our new government center, where I didn't look up in the sky and thank my parents for making me the person I am and having the honor of being a commissioner. I always thought it was an absolute honor. And I felt that my job was, an old-time politician, an old-time elected official said to me, when you had the power, what did you do? And I remember he'd say that. I was thinking, oh, let's see. Yes. When you had the power, what did you do? When you have the power, you have to make great things happen. You have to have a vision. Right. Like, we were spending approximately $1.5 million in rents and leases in downtown Scranton for, like, it was like a mouse maze for where all of our offices were. And I had an opportunity to buy the Globe Store. We bought the Globe Store. We bought it off the Chamber of Commerce for $1.3 million. We sold our building for $1.6, Charlie Jefferson, and that's going to be beautiful loft apartments, and it's on the tax roll. And I made a promise that I would not let it go to a nonprofit. I want to make sure that that would be paying taxes because we need to broaden the tax base at all times. And we were able to consolidate 13 locations to one building, 123 Wyoming Avenue. And for 10 years, we were spending $1.5 million. I wasn't here for most of this, but $1.5 million in rents and leases, $15 million, probably more to tell you the truth. Now, that is towards a building that the citizens of Lackawanna County will own within the next 25 years. Their own government center at the Lackawanna County Government Center at the Globe. And a lot of people have great memories of the Globe, and we wanted to make sure that we kept that name intact when we made that the government center because the history was great history. It was fun. It was a delightful time between Oppenheim's and the Globe and Wyoming Avenue. And what I noticed was Wyoming Avenue was like desolate before we went in. There could have been tumbleweeds. There was nothing going on Wyoming Avenue. Now it's alive. There's approximately 700 employees there, and whoever we're dealing with for a variety of different offices that they may need to go to. And that was probably one of the crowning glory moments that we had, was to be able to consolidate everything. Something that other administrations wanted to do, just didn't have the opportunity to do it. And I felt that when you had the power, do it. Make sure it happens.
Well, in your 2 terms, you did accomplish a lot as our county commissioner, and we thank you for all the things that you did accomplish.
We didn't raise taxes. It was great. It was great 8 years.
So veterans, I know, are also very important in your heart for all the organizations and things you do, because I know through the years, again, I've seen you support many veterans events, activities, and everything. Sure. So just your thoughts overall on your involvement in helping our veterans.
Like I said before, you know, I mean, we're not a community if we don't have our veterans. You know, I mean, I believe that when you see a veteran, not on Veterans Day or Memorial Day or anything like that, thank him for his service. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for them, right now at this moment, you know what I mean? There's servicemen and women that are fighting around the globe to make sure that we're having the freedoms that we have right now to be able to participate in the show. So I just believe that our community, our country is about veterans, and we should always honor them, be there for them. I've been involved with a lot of memorials. Like, we didn't have a Vietnam memorial in all of Lackawanna County. And I made sure that while I was commissioner, I reached out to a lot of my great veteran friends that I'm involved with, and we got the list of who the soldiers were that lost their lives. And we have a dedicated plaque down at the courthouse to all of our Vietnam veterans, somewhere where they can come and see their friends' names and, you know, remember who they were and what they were. And even though they lost their lives, their friends came back and lived a life on their behalf. And when we dedicated that plaque, it was probably one of the most solemn occasions I was ever at. There was over 2,000 people sitting on the grassy area on Washington Avenue, and you could hear a pin drop. And if you didn't hear a pin drop, you'd hear some people crying because, you know, I know that a lot of these people died in the 60s and into the early 70s that are on the plaque, but anyone who lost a loved one in a devastating situation like that, such as war, you know what I mean, that's still fresh. It's like yesterday. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it was yesterday to them. And it was just a great opportunity to be able to put a period at the end of their sentence and show that there's an honor for their loved one at the Lackawanna County Courthouse. But we had an opportunity with community reinvestment grants to help out with a lot of projects. There's a beautiful Korean War veteran memorial up in Dunmore. My good friend Kim Atkinson, I think she's still looking for money. They're looking for, that's going to be for like the modern soldier, and that's going to be erected somewhere in Elephant, I think this summer, and I'm sure that she's probably needs some more money to set up the base and everything else for it. But there's a beautiful memorial up in Clark Summit that we gave some charitable money to. And I just always believed, my father's Korean veteran, my brother was an Air Force veteran, my granduncles, my uncles, they were all in the Army and stuff, and I always just felt that, you know, they're the ones we should thank for the freedoms we have today.
Well, thank you for all the support that you have done for the veterans.
They're a pleasure to work with. They really
whether
are.
as in your capacity as an elected official or just your charity and volunteer work.
Great.
Also, I know the Steamtown Marathon. I think it would have been the 25th anniversary. Of course, it was done virtually, and I think you've been involved in every year of that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that part of your life.
That's an adventure itself. I used to be a very good cross-country runner and track runner in high school, and you know, you get older and you get married and you gain a little bit of weight. And when I turned 27, they started the Steamtown Marathon, and all the proceeds go to St. Joseph's. St. Joseph's, you know, I mean, they do God's work at St. Joseph's. They really do. And I think they've given like $1 million some bucks so far, more than that. But the race committee does an incredible job. We'll have like 10, 12 different countries at the race. It brings in thousands of people to be able to utilize all of our restaurants and hotels and motels, and they'll spend like, it's Columbus Day weekend, so some will be here Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday. And it's family oriented, and it's just a great, great event. But I had the opportunity to run in all 24 of them. And there's only 6 of us or 7 of us that have completed all 24 of them. And this past year, because of the pandemic, they decided that they weren't going to be able to do it because you have thousands of people at the starting line and it wouldn't work out right. You know, I mean, someone could get sick. So I took it upon myself. My good friend Matt Byrne, Scranton Running Company, who has the half marathon and does a great job down there getting people losing weight, selling them great sneakers, and just teaching them how to, you know, become the athlete that's inside of all of us. But Matt Byrne does a great job. I reached out to him, and he actually came out and certified that I did the marathon. I went up on the day it would have been on the Sunday before Columbus Day in October. Started at 8 o'clock in the morning, just like the regular marathon would. He put a GPS on me. He made sure we had the timing flaps out there at the beginning, somewhere out on the course that I wouldn't know about, so I'd have to cross it and then down at the finish line. And I actually got to, it wasn't the Steamtown Marathon, it was the Steamtown Marathon's course, but I got my 25th one in on the day the Steamtown Marathon would have happened. And what I did was, at that time, I did it in honor of all the first responders, all of our clerks, all of our people that are out there, all of our grocery help, all the people that, the truck drivers, our police, our EMTs, our doctors, our nurses, everybody, and in memory of what they've done and they've accomplished, putting their lives on the line, and all those that lost their lives. So I had a shirt that was made up that said everything, basically talking about honoring our first responders and our essential employees and all those that lost their lives. Because there's over 500,000 citizens that lost their lives to the coronavirus. And please put a mask on, social distance. We're coming into the home stretch here. People are getting the shots. It's, you know, I mean, I think the summer is going to be very good for all of us, I hope. But it was an honor to run the marathon. But what was weird was, usually there's traffic control for the whole 26.2 miles. I was running on my own. So it wasn't bad for the first 20, Bob, but the last 6, you start feeling a little delirious, a little tired and stuff. It was very scary crossing the streets because I had to watch where I was going because they didn't know I was out there doing a marathon. So, but it was good.
Let's ask a fun question of Patrick O'Malley. You spend all this time with volunteer groups, charitable groups, community government service, marathon racing and everything. What does Patrick O'Malley do in his spare time, if he has any free time? Name a hobby. Tell me something you do to relax and just sit back.
That's the hobby.
Okay.
That's really the hobby. Actually, that really is. Spending time with my kids is like first and foremost thing. My son is a very good runner. He runs for Valley View. He ran cross country past year. They were 6-0. They had a great season, and he's getting ready for the track season, which will be starting sometime in March. And my other son is doing a very good job at the University of Scranton. He's a smart boy. He just graduated, my son Patrick, from prep this past August, which was weird. I would have loved for him to have had a normal graduation, but they did a great job. They did on the football field on Washington Avenue right across from the school with social distancing, but he's doing really good in school. But my kids are my world, and I breathe and live who they are. They're what makes Pat O'Malley who he is. And my family and friends.
So family time.
Family, friends, and my friends. Yeah, I try to spend as much if I can get to them. You know what I mean? And they just mean the world to me.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for being our guest today. Thank you for all that you do in the community, whether it's supporting organizations, charitable organizations, for just rallying the people out there to come out and support different events and everything. And as we mentioned earlier, you have a whole bunch of events coming up the next three events, the next 2 weekends, supporting again, different organizations, celebrating Irish heritage a little bit too. And of course, your government public service that you've done through all the years and everything, and just for being someone who's very, very active in our community. Thank you for all that you have done for our community.
I'd just like to say one thing to the viewing audience. Please, find a charity that you like, get involved, give back, give of your time. If you're financially capable, give them some money, because at this point, all these organizations are hungry and they need the money and the resources to give back to those who are less fortunate. And we're coming into March. I'd like to just wish everyone a happy and healthy, safe St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. I'm Bob Savakinus, and this is our program in a nutshell. And thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you, Bob.